Hello my fellow farmers, welcome to Bath Beauty in the Void, and today I'm going to be looking at my green Colourpop palette collection. Now I for one absolutely adore a good green. I just love looking like a bog witch or a gremlin that just rose out of the swamp. I also love, corpsey colors, but the ones that look flattering, because there's some of them that it's just a little too dead for me. I know green palettes typically aren't something that is really in demand with the community, but they're tailored exactly for me, and that's all that matters. But I love green palettes. I just love green. It's so beautiful. You don't really see good green eyeshadow, and Colourpop has a decent selection of greens. This will kind of be like a review of each palette, and I'll try to recommend what kind of person I think would be best for each palette. But also at the same time, I mean, there's no reason why you can't get them all. If you see it, you love it. I'm the type of person to be like, yeah, why not? Get it. Maximalism is in, and it's good for the soul, as long as it doesn't get into terrifying consumerism. There are other green palettes that Colourpop has, such as this emerald quad that I do not have. They also have a palette that's kind of like olive tones, and if I forget any other ones, I'll show them on the screen, or if another one releases while I'm editing this. And I know when I searched for green Colourpop palettes, High Tide palette showed up, and I know some people might consider that a green, but I do not. And I'm an art student, so I know that is supposed to be a blue. Color debate being integral to, art. I have not heard of that ever. Anyways, now that I have announced my undying love for color green and beautiful green eyeshadows, let's get into it. Now, just as an overview for all the green palettes, is pretty much with all Colourpop items, I really appreciate how pigmented they are, because usually when you're typically buying things in this price range, they are not that pigmented. I've heard so many horror stories, and I've experienced a lot of horror stories, in particular with blues, and it's terrible. Typically, you can put on as much as you want, but nothing's gonna happen. It's just, you're gonna have a 7-layer dip of just eyeshadow, and it's sadly just gonna whisk away. Also, I feel like it's hard to find green shadow palettes. I think Huda Beauty had one, which also looked really pretty. Not everyone does it, which is weird, because I think we all are in the era where we want to look like we're being slowly consumed by moths. The overview out of the way, I'm just going to start looking at individual palettes. The first palette I'm going to be looking at is High Society. It is a 5-pan palette, and these palettes are typically pretty good for travel. They're also pretty sturdy, and they have these really cute details on here that other palettes may not have. These pretty cute floral scissors, and I love the little impressions. So this palette is spectacular if you're a person like me and you love greens. You're gonna do a green look, but you're on the go. You got places to go. Right now it's the other end of the room, but that's fine. That's a travel girl right there. Even if they have to stay inside for the safety of everyone else, and that traveling is just from one room to another. But we love you. You do your thing. Anyways, I really like this palette because typically I'm not really into palettes that are under 9 pans. However, I really do like the quads and the 5 pans of the Colourpop palettes, because I feel like just with the choice of colors, they're really useful, and they typically create the kind of looks that I think a broad range of people will be looking to make with a small to-go makeup palette. And I like this one because even just looking at it, there are so many I can easily just throw on a look from this. It's very easy to put one together, or if you want to do kind of a retro look, you can just put on one shade. The 2 shimmers are pretty nice, and I feel like they're kind of tasteful. You could definitely use Promise in the inner corner, or with a brown look, and I just think it look really elegant. But if that's not more your thing, there's a lot more bright looks you can totally make with this. So if you're looking to make like bright green looks and you're on the go to, you know, who knows where, then this would be a great palette for you. Next, I want to talk about the Tinkerbell palette because I didn't know it existed until I was looking on the website and I was like, holy, this looks so cute. I love this. Like, I just think Tinkerbell's cute. She's a mood. I mean, if she doesn't get enough attention, she dies. We love an icon. Anyways, this palette is made out of cardboard, and the pans in it are bigger than normal Colourpop palettes. Like, let me just probably put better overlay footage up, but I do also just want to show, like, these pans are bigger. Now, as I was saying with the previous palette, how it would look really cute if you put some, like, neutral colors in it, this is the kind of palette that would allow you to execute that. The only thing is like, I wish there were some deeper browns in this palette because then I feel like it'd be way more versatile. However, something nice about the greens in this one is that they're mostly shimmers. So I feel like this would be great if you're looking for a green palette that isn't too like powerful. You want like that tasteful kind of green, like the beautiful sprinkle of Bog Witch on your eyelids, you know? I think this would be a great palette for you. I personally like it. It's definitely cute for effects and shimmers. The shimmers aren't too pigmented, but I do like how subtle they are because I feel like a lot of people with like colors that may not seem normal, such as green, they may be hesitant to try something out. And I think like if you want to try out new colors and you want to try out green, this would be a great starter palette for that because it's definitely, you have to really work to be pushing over those borders, or if you just want to make like elegant woodland looks, this is great for it. But yeah, I completely had no idea this came out. It's super cute. I love the packaging, but I was like, huh, not even a Tinkerbell hair clip? Next is the Aura Now palette. I believe this is discontinued. I'll double check and put it on the screen if it is, or I'll also put on the screen if I need to correct that. As you can see by how deeply I have dug into energetics right here and some of these other colors, I really like this palette. I think there's something comforting about this palette. I don't know if it's like the sort of vintage 70 colors, but I really like it. Again, there are a lot of looks you can do this one, and this one is a multicolored palette rather than a monochromatic palette. So you have a bit more versatility, but it's also great for filling in the gaps of like different looks. You could definitely make a super cute gradient look with this palette. However, I feel like these yellow greens are just so unique. I just don't see yellow greens like that. Yeah, that and the glitter is super pretty. I typically dip into it like even for other looks. Something I really like is a stark white in here because I feel like if you have a nice colorful look and you put a nice white or a nice gold in your inner corner, it just really grounds it, but also just gives it that contrast to make it look super pretty. If you are interested in getting this palette, there is makeup resale that's pretty decent on Poshmark and Mercari. Always check to make sure you're not getting a knockoff. But yeah, if you do want it and you do find it, I highly recommend it. Next is the Child palette in the Mandalorian collection that Colourpop has. I saw this was a thing, and I swear as soon as it was released, my soul left my body and I purchased this. But this, for some reason, this just called out to me from the aether, I guess, because I just love it. I do love the Mandalorian, which is a big reason why I got it, but it's also a very cute green palette. Like, it is absolutely, like, if you're looking for that kind of frog palette, this is great. Also, if you're looking for something that's a bit more pigmented than the Tinkerbell palette and has the beautiful rich brown in it, I would definitely recommend this one. Because there's a lot of cute, like, tasteful natural looks you can make, but also, like, just looking at this olive shimmer that's called the Force, it's just beautiful. There's a lot of really unique colors in here. And I feel like you can do, like, soft glam, but green with this. I know soft glam is only supposed to be natural, but, you know, we live in a world where rules are meant to be changed. I do kind of wish it had the stark white of Aura and Out in here, but this Precious Cargo color is also pretty nice. I just think it's a cute palette. It's definitely like a nice collector's item, and it's Can you resist this little face? That's so adorable. Next is the Meant to Be palette, which if I'm remembering people were excited about, but then I saw nothing. I like really don't see people mention this palette, and I think it is super cute. I absolutely love pastel palettes. Ain't that a name of a band on Bandori? No, I think it's Pretty Palettes. Anyways, I think this is cute. And this palette is super pretty. I just think it's great. No, pastels in spring is revolutionary, but I also love to wear this, you know, in the winter or wherever. And I just think it's so pretty. Like, it's just so aesthetic. Sometimes I get in the mood where I'm like, I don't know if I'll use this again. But then I become incredibly obsessed with it and will just use it. Use this with a brown eyeliner. It's just mwah. It's just wonderful. This one definitely has more matte greens in here. So, but if you're looking for like a nice light green palette, I highly recommend this one. So you can live out your 2010s Tumblr aesthetic dreams. Next palette is Just My Look, which I had to jump into the shadow realm of the Colourpop site in order to order, but I love it just as well. Just My Look has these beautiful rich greens, and I think if you had, say, the Child palette or Meant to Be, you definitely can make a lot of super cute colors in conjunction. I just love the richness of these colors, and it just doesn't get much better. I know for some time you can only get this if you bought like a set. However, if you have it in your favorites of your account when it was a single item, you could buy it from there, which is a really kind of odd loophole, but it works. I will put a correction if you can just buy it singularly now. You don't have to go through any loopholes. But Just My Look is this cute St. Patrick's Day themed palette, and when I look at it, I get the taste of like a shamrock shake in my mouth, which is so incredibly American, but you know, I just think this is very cute. I know you can make a lot of really like bold, fun looks with this, and it's just, I think these colors are great for accenting if you're looking for colors for other ones, but yeah, you never really see like rich greens like this, so you can build complex green looks with just this palette, and it is gorgeous. I love it. Like, if anybody's out there listening and you want to figure out how to really reel people in, it's that people want beautiful greens, and those people being me. But you know, I also just love this color called Too Matcha. It's not actually the color of matcha, but if Colourpop made a matcha themed palette, I would lose my mind, because I love matcha so dearly. My phone is the color of matcha. It is so good. It's so good for your brain. That's the reason why this palette is my favorite, solely for the shade named. And that was just an overview of all my green palettes. I do intend on going through my other palettes and reviewing them and comparing them, because I feel like while looking at swatches of palettes individually is helpful if you're looking for something, I feel like just having the ability to compare each palette is really helpful. Say for example the Child palette and the Tinkerbell palette. I personally love all my green palettes. I could hoard green palettes, but some people may just be looking for one specific green palette. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.